This is the Evergreen game, and it is one of the coolest examples of pieces working together. We are going to follow every move because the magic is not one random tactic. It is how each move adds one more helper to the attack. White starts with e4, grabbing space in the center and opening lines for the queen and bishop. Black answers with e5, matching the center and saying, "Okay, we are playing open chess." Nf3 develops a knight and immediately asks a question about the e5 pawn. Nc6 defends that pawn and brings out a piece. So far, both sides are building normally. bc4 is a friendly-looking bishop move, but it points right at f7, the soft square near black's king. bc5 copies the idea. Black develops 2, and both bishops are now aiming across the board. Coach paused before the gambit. "Would you give up a pawn here to make the bishop move? I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, white chooses action with b4. Now b4. This is the Evans gambit. White offers a pawn to make black's bishop move and win time. Black accepts with bxb4. Winning a pawn is nice, but now white gets to build a big center. c3 asks the bishop to move again. White is spending a pawn to make black lose time. ba5 keeps the bishop safe, but notice, black has moved the same bishop twice already. d4 hits the center. This is the point. White opens lines while black is still moving that bishop around. Black plays exd4 and takes the pawn. Material says black is doing well, but activity tells a different story. White castles. That tucks the king away and brings the rook closer to the action. Black plays d3, pushing a pawn deep into white's side and trying to slow everything down. qb3 is a double-purpose move. It eyes b7 and also looks toward f7. 2 questions with 1 queen move. qf6 defends and keeps things together for the moment. Black is solving problems one at a time. e5 kicks the queen and gains space. White is not just attacking. White is making every move come with tempo. qg6 moves the queen away. Black is safe for now, but that queen had to spend another move retreating. 1 rupee brings the rook to the open file. White is lining up pieces like a team getting ready for a big play. ng7 develops the knight and adds defenders. Black is trying to finish development before the storm arrives. ba3 brings another bishop into the game. Now white's pieces are pointing at the middle from every direction. Black plays b5, attacking the queen. This looks active, but it also creates more loose squares. qxb5 wins a pawn back and keeps pressure. White's queen stays close to the kingside action. rb8 attacks the queen. Black gains a tempo, which is exactly what black needs right now. qa4 slides away and keeps an eye on the board. White does not panic. The attack keeps its shape. bb6 develops the bishop and connects another defender. Black is almost organized, but the center is still tense. nbd2 develops the last knight. White has almost every piece invited to the party. bb7 points the bishop down the long diagonal. Black is finally getting pieces out too. n4 jumps into the center. This knight says, "I am not just developed, I am joining the attack." qf5 moves the queen again and pressures d3. Black wants trades or relief, anything to slow white down. bxd3 removes the advanced pawn. White clears the board so the pieces can talk to each other. qh5 keeps the queen active and looks toward the king. Black is still defending, but the position is getting sharp. Pause here if you want to find white's forcing move. Look for a check that pulls black's pawns out of shape. 3, 2, 1, here comes nf6 check. nf6 check. The knight jumps in with tempo. This is a forcing move, so black has to answer it. Black takes with gxf6. The knight is gone, but the kingside pawns are now stretched and the lines are opening. x6 brings a pawn forward and opens the e-file. White keeps opening doors for the pieces. rg8 puts the rook on the open file. Black wants counterplay, and this is a very human defensive try. rad1 brings the other rook into the center. White's rooks are now helping the attack instead of watching. qxf3 wins the queen. That looks huge, and it is huge, but chess is not only about the biggest piece. Coach pause. White's queen is about to be in danger. but there is a forcing move first. Can you spot it? 3 to 1. Rec 7 check is the idea. Rec 7 check. White gives up even more material, but every move arrives with a check or a threat. Black takes with next 7. Black is collecting pieces, but the king still has to survive the next wave. QXD7 check. White's queen jumps in before disappearing from the story, and the king has to move. KXD7 captures the queen. If you only count material, black is smiling. If you count danger, it is not over. Pause here. White is down material, so the next move has to be active. Which bishop move keeps the king in trouble? 3 to 1. BF5 check. BF5 check is the quiet hero move. The bishop steps in, and suddenly the escape squares start disappearing. Q8 steps back. Black is still trying to run, but the bishops are beginning to draw a net. BD7 check keeps the king boxed in. This is a great lesson. Active pieces can cover squares like teammates. KF8 is forced. The king moves again, but there is one final square white has been waiting to use. Final puzzle pause. The king has one last hiding spot, but white has one clean move to finish. 3 to 1. B7 is checkmate. B7 checkmate. The bishop lands, the net closes, and the big lesson is simple. Activity can beat material when every piece joins in. That is the evergreen lesson. Do not just count pieces. Ask whose pieces are active, whose king is safe, and whether every move comes with a useful question. If you want to practice the key moments, the interactive lesson is waiting on My Chess Coach.